There's a myth that's been around forever. Running ages you. And I found myself in the mix of the drama. Some guy on the internet stealing one of my videos to use as an example. So I figured, let's debunk the myth. In this video, I'll break down what actually contributes to runners looking aged, how to prevent it, and most importantly, how running can actually make you look younger. Because yes, it can age you, but it's also a myth. So let's dive into it. I've had enough, say you've had enough. First, why running ages you? Many people believe the myth of the runner's face. The idea that running causes sagging skin, wrinkles, and that overall gaunt appearance, which is the same things that happens to someone when they get older, aka you look old. Old is subjective, but we all just, you know what I mean. You look more like a grandparent than an infant. There's 5 key things that happen to you when you're running that will equate to a more aged appearance that actually have nothing to do with running. Let's break it down. Number 1, sun exposure. Talk to any dermatologist on the internet, and what's the one thing we all gotta be wearing? Sunscreen. What's the thing that ages you the fastest? The sun. Drop mic, end of story. We could just leave this whole video, could be summed up right here, but we're gonna go more into the nitty gritty. But yes, constant sun exposure equals wrinkles. Running equals lots of sun exposure. Therefore, if you run a lot, you will get a lot of wrinkles because of the sun. The Journal of Investigative Dermatology confirms that 80% of facial aging comes from UV exposure. So yes, nothing causes aging more than UV exposure from the sun. 2, low body fat percentage. There's a reason there's the term baby face. When you're younger, you're plump. You got more fat in your face. The older you get, the more you lose a lot of fat in your face, which is why older people typically have more of that gaunt look. Therefore, having a more gaunt look face looks older versus like a baby face. That's why they invented fillers, to plump back up the face as you age. So typically being very lean is associated with like an older look. Not so black and white, because no one's looking at Bella Hadid and saying old. And the reality of running is especially if you're doing intense endurance activities, it is really hard to maintain your weight for some people. So they do lose a lot of body fat percentage, and that does include in their face. But this is actually something that really annoys me, and I think is a big misconception in the running community and people viewing runners, is this idea of running equals low body fat percentage. 2 reasons. 1, a lot of people have gotten into running lately, and I think a lot of people get into it with the assumption that they're going to start running a lot and lose weight. The reality is it is very common, especially if you're doing something like training for a marathon or anything intense, that you'll gain weight in your running journey. That is very common, is very fine as long as you're being healthy, because the reality is you have to eat a lot so you're fueled properly for these long runs. So sometimes eating a little extra is great because you're more likely to have energy while you go on a run. Your hunger cues are completely different when you're doing this intense training, and that is a very common thing. On the flip side, then yes, there is times where some individuals do intense energy expenditures from these intense workouts, so they do lose weight, or they just have struggle maintaining their weight. That is possible, but both are equally possible. I think the biggest misconception is that we look at professional runners and we see them having low body fat percentage. Therefore, we think running causes low body fat percentage. And no, that is not always the case. It is typically, when you look at professional athletes, their body type is not dictated from their sport. They choose the body type to help them perform better. And that was one of the misconceptions with something like running for the longest time, was that weighing less, lower body fat percentage meant you had less weight to carry, therefore it'd be easier and you'd be faster. And this is just a really old tale in sports in general. Gymnasts, I would say, are an example. Even as a swimmer, I remember feeling this pressure of track athletes. There was always this misconception that the lighter you are, it was the easier to flip in the air and run fast. And now we just look at athletes who are strong and powerful, and that is no longer really the thing. That's a really outdated take, that you have to be a really low body fat percentage and low weight to be a runner. There's still coaches and there's still people that do believe that, but nowadays when you look at the Olympics, you'll see how many people they realize carrying more muscle will make them more powerful, and there's not one body type equals performance. Therefore, this idea of a runner's body is slowly adapting and changing, because it should be whatever body type works best for your performance in your sport, and that's not so black and white. Yeah, when trolls on the internet say running gives you a low body fat percentage, I'm like, oh, so you're uneducated. You don't realize that a lot of those professional athletes are choosing their body type. But can't blame the trolls. And obviously there is some sports, my body is made a lot from the sports I grew up. Obviously your sports are going to dictate your body too. But you know what? You watching, you're smart that you know both things can be true. 3 of how running can cause you to look age. Oxidative stress. Pretty much, long periods of intense exercise without proper recovery can increase oxidative stress, which may damage skin cells. I found in this article from nature.com, but moderate exercise enhances the body's antioxidant defense, which mitigates oxidative damage. AK, yes, extremes can do this. Moderate, no. Or, something I'm very guilty of, facial expressions while running. Running sucks. And the reality is wrinkles are formed by constant facial expressions. That's why Botox works. One of the reasons it works is it stops your body from being able to make facial expressions, therefore the wrinkles don't form. Now, is just 30 minutes your jog outside gonna do it? No. But I do have to think, if you're doing hours and hours on end and you're just going, yeah, it's probably gonna do something. So maybe it's a reminder of just like, I even think sometimes when I run, relax your face. Relax. Just like, you don't want to run so tensed up, but we all do. So it's nice to just got loosen. Always, there's a visual. There used to be this running technique of you'd run holding a chip. And so just to make sure you didn't clench your hands, because if you clench your hands, you'd hold the chip. So every once in a while, I just visualize that while I'm running. If I'm kind of like, would that chip be crunched? Loosen up a bit. 5, pollution exposure. Another thing that causes skin damage and wrinkles and, discoloration is pollution. And if you're like me that live in a big urban city, there's a lot of pollution, which does expose your skin to things like free radicals. So yes, if you're in a polluted area, just being outside is going to do that for you. Part 2, 3, how to prevent aging as a runner. Number 1, wear sunscreen every time you run. Wear sunscreen every time you leave the house. That's probably one of the biggest healthy habits. Or bonus, wear a hat. Why'd you think I look so youthful? It's because I wear a hat. No, just kidding. But yeah, a broad spectrum SPF 30 plus will protect your skin from UV damage. If you want to use a mineral or a chemical, that is not for this video, and that is your own personal choice. 2, stay hydrated. Lori, drink some water. Boom. Let's be real, water's really boring, and I'm about to make my water a lot more fun. Oh, now it just tastes like a margarita. Honestly, citrus flavored element definitely gives margarita vibes, but like san the tequila. But yes, being dehydrated can make your skin look dull and tired. And yes, if you're running multiple miles a day, a couple times a week, you're sweating, you're losing hydration, which is gonna lose that luscious niceness of your skin, and also is just general for our health and wellness. And of course though, when you run, you're not just sweating out water, you're also sweating out electrolytes. That's why your sweat tastes salty. And so what I personally do before I go on a run is I dump in an element pack into my water, chug it down, because have you ever got cramps running? One thing that can cause it is an electrolyte deficiency. So my runners, it is very important, especially if you're doing long distance running, a lot of you training for marathons, half marathons, you should look into having an electrolyte supplement to replenish your electrolyte levels, reducing cramp, brain fog, increasing energy, and just your ability to run faster, longer. And why I love element specifically, first, it tastes so good. Like this is just fun down in my water. Obviously, you can't add multiple ones a day to it, sadly. I love it because of its science-based ratio of 1,000 milligrams sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. It tastes delicious. It's used by professional athletes in the NBA, NHL, NFL, and it used from endurance athletes all over the world. You'll probably have seen many of the runners online using it because it is just such an easy, healthy habit, and it tastes delicious. And yeah, being hydrated helps your skin. So why? It's a win-win. It's a win-win. And of course, I'm not going to talk about this product and not give you guys a code. If you go to drinkelement.com/Keltie, you'll get one of their sample packets with your purchase. This is a great way to try all 8 flavors or share with a salty friend. Once again, that's drinkelement.com/Keltie. Thank you, Element, for sponsoring this video. And reminding us all, like Chloe, to stay hydrated. Go drink some water. Number 3, eat a skin-rich diet. Now, I'm not a dermatologist, so I can't tell you specifics of this, but we can all agree that your skin, your hair is all dictated and made by what you eat. So just making sure you get a wide variety of nutrients is more likely your body has the building blocks to do all those beauty things. I always say your skin and nails are like the last thing your body needs for survival compared to your heart. So if you want to make sure they're good, yes, you have to make sure you have enough nutrients for all the other systems. So Yes, have foods with antioxidants, vitamin A, vitamin C, healthy fats. All those are just such great ones from just making sure your skin is healthy. Especially if you're being active, you're burning these calories, you want to make sure you're fueling your body properly. 4, strength train. Now this won't be exactly it, but one big component that kind of make that gaunt look more so in your body is just like a loss of muscle. And running doesn't inherently cause muscle loss unless you're doing these extremes, you're not fueling properly. Most part, why people lose muscle while they're running is that they have less time to weight train, or they start weight training less and running more. So if you want to not have muscle loss while you're on your running journey, just make sure you are continuing your weight training routine and you're fueling properly so you have enough to maintain that muscle. But like I said, if you were before doing 3 weight training workouts and no running, and suddenly you're only doing 1 weight training workout so you can fit in 2 runs, yes, you'll lose muscle. That's just reality. But if you keep those 4 and then slowly add some running in while keeping those 4 weight training, you'll be fine. Number 5, get enough sleep. Sleep is when your body repairs itself, including your skin. Of course, you know this. Aim 7 to 9 hours per night for optimal recovery, which means optimal anti-aging benefits. Which leads me to number 6, is extreme running versus regular running. So yes, just a realization of, in terms of prevention. I think there's a lot of misconceptions online we see about like running, and we think running extreme. People think like endurance running is completely different than the average person going on a 2 to 5 kilometer run. And this is kind of where there's a choice, and I want to be fully transparent. The average person doesn't always have enough time to properly recover from intense exercise. And that's why it can cause more stress, it can cause more harm to the body, versus like a professional runner who's a marathon runner can run crazy amount a week because the rest of their day is spent recovering, sleeping. They're not just sleeping 8 hours, they might sleep 10 to 12. The rest of the day is on the couch, they're going to massages. Their whole day is about recovery outside of these intense workouts. And so that's how an endurance athlete is less likely to have the negative side effects of intense running, versus an average person who's doing marathon training or endurance training. They're not spending their day recovering, they're spending their day in a high stressful environment at work or school. And I'm going to be fully transparent. If you're someone who's really busy and you decide you want to train for multiple marathons a year and you have a family and a social life, it's going to be very hard. It's doable, but to make sure you're recovering, getting enough food, sleep, just rest, just sitting on the couch and relaxing will be very hard. And sometimes in life we take those sacrifices and we realize we want to challenge ourselves, but also realize if you're chronically doing it and you're chronically stressed at work and you're trying to maintain a social life, like you're doing a lot. Just realize you're doing a lot and you're probably under recovering, and things like that can lead to aesthetic changes, which you might not like, and that negative effects on our body. So it's always a reminder that endurance running, extreme running is tough on your body, but it's more so the lack of being able to recover properly. And us average people who have to be in a high stress job, 9 to 5, have a social life, don't necessarily have enough hours to do intense endurance training and recovery properly. You can, and maybe you don't have a social life for that. That's what you decide to do. Things can be done, obviously, but just realize it's a sacrifice you take. That's one of the biggest hard parts about the marathon, is just the time. Finding the time to train properly for it. Because also you can't sacrifice training, because then you show up on marathon day undertrained and you blow out your knee. But a little tough love, because this is something I definitely learned about in the book Roar by Dr. Stacy Sims. I think overtraining we think has to do with the kilometers we put in, the weights we're lifting. It has a lot less to do with that. It's just our body's ability to properly recover. And a lot of us just don't have the time to recover. But there's just kind of a difference of like, there's a training for a marathon and then there's being a marathon runner full time. There's a difference, and kind of where you fall on the spectrum of your ability and time to recover is going to be different, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't train for a marathon. Just realize it's tough on your body, a sacrifice to your time. You know what I mean? This might be the time to sacrifice social life so you can have a bit more time for recovery, and that's probably why you shouldn't be running multiple marathons a year if it's negatively affecting parts of your life. But if it's not, albeit, like I said, I just want to talk about this. I don't want to stigmatize endurance running or anything. I just want a reality check of like, if you're going to do it, make sure you have the time to recover from it. Easier said than done, because we're all busy. In section 3, how running can actually make you younger. Number 1, I saw some things online, but I don't know if this one's fully true, but it kind of makes sense. Running increases circulation. Yes, you have more blood flow. This exercise in general, things are circulating through, you're getting nutrients through your body. That could have some benefits for aging and for anti-aging. 2, running reduces stress and cortisol levels. Typically, just exercise in general is great for your endorphins, your happy hormones, all those. It's going to reduce stress in a lot of ways. It's a stress outlet we have. So I'm going to kind of contradict what I said before about the endurance training, but just realize, exercise is a teeter-totter. Not exercise Over-exercising can make you very stressed. Over-exercising can make you very stressed. You want a good enough amount. You need the cortisol from exercise because the cortisol from working out causes your body to adapt. You become back stronger mentally and physically because of that, because your body's forced to adapt. But if you force your body to do too much and you chronically overreaching, it's excessive stress, which I think we all know. Nothing ages you like stress, but you still need some stress in your life. It's not all inherently bad. You just need to be able to recover from it. So just the teeter-totter of stress and exercise. Number 3, helps maintain collagen. Now, this one I'm kind of lying about a little, but it's not necessarily running, but exercise has been shown to increase collagen production, specifically more so weight training. But if you're running, you have to be weight training. So as a runner, you're weight training, therefore you're fine. Because you shouldn't just be running because of injury prevention. So as a runner, you are weightlifting, therefore good for collagen. I know I kind of went around there, but just a reminder, you need to weight train. Otherwise you'll be injured and therefore you can't be running. Number 4, VO2 max. One of the best things for longevity, according to the book Outlive by Peter Attia, is your VO2 max. The better it is, the more likely you're gonna have health span, not just lifespan. And health span is just how long in your life you're healthy versus your lifespan is just like how long you live. So it's kind of your quality of life. So you want not just lifespan, but also health span. One of the best indicators is VO2 max. And a great way to train your VO2 max is running. Number 5, Zone 2 cardio. We've heard this 1,000 times. One of the best things for your heart, for longevity, also this has been reamed online, is your Zone 2. You want to get in about 150 to 180 minutes a week of Zone 2 training from the book Outlive by Peter Attia. And what's one great way to doing that? Your nice slow little Zone 2 run. Because not every run has to kill you. This was a big life-changing moment for me and to enjoy running. Yeah, some runs you really got to push yourself, and that's, you get your VO2 max there, but other runs can be a lot more slower and enjoyable and get your Zone 2 in. Number 6, it makes you not sedentary. One of the things that will also age you a ton is just being sedentary all the time. We're not meant to sit all day long, and one way to overcome that is going for a run. And last, the runner's glow. This is so cheesy, but nothing makes you look younger than just that zest of life. You know those people like that and you're like, you're 80, but why did I think you were 45? Versus you meet someone who's 25, like, oh, I thought you were 45. It has nothing to do how they look. It's the vibe. It's this energy they keep. We're so bad right now, especially social media, of just looking at ourselves and just I do it all the time. Oh, I see that one wrinkle. And it's a reminder that we're all hyperfixate on how we look. I think one great thing running does is it gives you more energy because of the Zone 2 training and all that. You'll have more energy. That's a great thing about exercise because you're pushing your body. After your body recovers, you'll be stronger, healthier, and have more energy to live your life, therefore be more youthful, be more joyful, and also the runner's high, the endorphins you get from that. No one's looking old after coming from a run. Endorphins high pumping through their body. There's a youthful just energy, and at the end of the day, that's the most important over looks and everything else. So that's also a reminder. Running isn't about looks. You can exercise without it mattering how your body looks. You can exercise because it's good for you and improves your quality of life. So people on the internet coming on hating people for how running makes them look, miss the memo. If you're a bodybuilder, okay, it's different. It's just an added bonus. And the nice things about doing squats, which are really good for performance and our health, is, you get a nice booty from it. It's a bonus. That's not the point. That's not the point. So anyone who comes online and demonizes people for exercising due to how it changes their body, missed the memo. Gonna be a little sassy there. The whole point of exercise is improve your quality of life. Literally the whole thing. And the added bonus is certain exercises like weight training and that can help you, but also so can running. There's something very enjoyable about going for a run. It's part of the whole thing. That's any exercise, because if you're just weight training, you're not getting in your Zone 2 and VO2 maxes. The reality is you need the full picture. You need to do some stability and mobility, you need to do some cardio, you need to do some weight training, and then you need to do some things that are just pure enjoyment, like going dancing with your friends. And that whole circle will balance yourself out. So as long as you're doing something in the whole circle, you're good. You're doing great. So, in conclusion, let's debunk it. Does running make you look old? No. What does make you look old? Yes. Excessive sun exposure, poor skincare, and just not taking care of your body properly. And one thing that's really important to take care of your body properly is getting some kind of form of cardio. You might not be someone who wants to do running, and that's okay. You also don't have to do running. You can do swimming. You can go on a bike. There's multiple different ways. You can go dancing, but running is so much fun. It's so in. You can enjoy run clubs, and it's really fun to sometimes push yourself and decide to train for a 5-kilometer or even a half marathon, or dare I say a marathon one day. And if you're worried about running aging you, just remember, wear some sunscreen, hydrate, hydrate, eat healthy, continue weight training, and make sure to fuel your body properly. And maybe you'll end up looking younger. But I'd love to hear down in the comments. Of course, the cool thing about my videos is there's always a very positive comment section of like-minded people. So obviously leave your own result of like, for me, yes, I've gotten some wrinkles as I've gotten older. That's reality. But also it has nothing to do with running. That just has to do with general aging. Because yeah, the longer you run, the older you get, so you will therefore age. It doesn't directly have to do with running. But I'd love to hear down in the comments of anything you guys done to help just prevent maybe some of the negative side effects of running. And then also any positives you've had. Like for example, I just think there's such a lust and enjoyment. You see people crossing the finish line. Some look miserable, but a lot look so joyful. So that's what really matters. But moral of the story, the most important thing to not age is to pet multiple dogs. So have a great day, go pet a dog. Love you guys, bye.